15 years ago, if you were going to a life coach or a executive coach, people, I think, were skeptical. They're like, what really? We've passed that now, and those types of coaches are accepted. In the last 4 or 5 years, and maybe it's a result from COVID, who knows, who cares, we've seen people more open to seeing therapists. What's the difference? What's the, because I still think there's a certain amount of dogma around, okay, I have a coach. Like you said, I'm an athlete, I have a coach. Okay, I'm a businessman, I have a therapist. It's like, you have a therapist? Yeah, I have like a shrink. Do you know what I mean? Where are the lines? Are they blurred? Are they clear? How does it sit?
So for me, they are very clear. Because a therapist works with patients and a coach works with people that want to, from point A, reach point B and have not necessarily a problem. They just need a kick or a little bit more clarity. So the reason people still go to therapists is cultural. Is because even if this obstacle, as you mentioned, has been overcome, thank you. But it's still a new professional role, and they always tend to think that there is something that does not work in their brain. And they go to a therapist, but at the end, they do not necessarily work from point A to point B because the therapist has not that role, has to dig into a problem, right? And I don't know if I express myself clearly. Patient versus client, understand what's the problem versus let's reach a goal together in a very practical way.
Isn't if you go to, I'm going to challenge it now, isn't if you go to a therapist, you still want to go from A to B. And sometimes I say we're all just trying to be a little bit less fucked. Or we're all a bit fucked up and we're just trying to be a little bit less fucked up. So that can actually be the goal, whether it's, I'm a little bit shit at running and I want to be, and I know it sounds like a negative mindset, but it's a mindset that a lot of people are in. I just want to be a little bit better than last in the class at running. When I go to a therapist, I just want to not have quite so much anxiety, maybe. So it's kind of it's interesting because I personally see them quite similar in the fact that they're doing what you said before, in that they're there to guide you, to ask you questions, you can read all the books, and I agree 100% with you, and I think I always say this. If I have a business problem, there's one guy I call. If I have a training problem, there's one. If I have an emotional problem, and I kind of had these people, a handful of people that you trust implicitly, and they're all coaches to me. There's no formal relationship, but they're all coaches and mentors that each, and most of the time I've come to where, and I'm presenting the idea. So I'd turn around to you and I'd say, listen, maybe it's an emotional thing. I've been dealing with this. This is where I've got to. What do you think? And you'd go, yeah, that's cool. Have you thought of this? No. Okay, cool. And you just, is what I say to people. That's what we do for people. We're just holding up a mirror. Have you thought of this? But it's an interesting situation because, like I said, when we look at the timeline of coaching and therapy, coaches and therapists have been around for a long time. If in 2005 to 2010, you say, yeah, I'm seeing a life coach. Now, it's like, what do you do? Well, I sort of help people's lives. Oh, you're a life coach. It's like, we embarrass them. And then it's like, oh, I've got an appointment today. What appointment do you have? A therapist. Okay, be proud. So you're gonna see.
Exactly.
It's a weird time.
Yeah.
Because we're just people helping people.
Exactly. It's cultural. There is always this tendency of showing no weakness.
Showing weakness or showing no weakness. Right?
Yeah. Because we are in a society based on judgment. Good, not good, and the mental, motivational, whatever is the things you want to discuss either with a therapist or with a coach is not by all, but a little bit it is perceived as are you okay?
Yeah.
And this is so wrong, because as we take care of our biceps and triceps and we should take care of our little bit of anxiety.
You said that's cultural. Mm-hmm. What culture is it? And I'm going to challenge you again here, because I disagree. I think it's humans and judgment and ego, which you've spoken about a lot. I think it's across all cultures. I think if you go in any culture, I don't know many cultures that it's normal, like you said, we're okay to say we want to develop our biceps, but we're not okay to say, I suffer from anxiety. I need to somehow work on it.
You don't agree. I agree with you. I think that it's true. It's cross, let's say, target all over the world. But there are, for instance, I'm Italian, and I'm from the south of Italy, and already in my nation, about the same topics, there are two ideas, where in Milano is very common to say, I go to the psychologist.
Really?
Yeah, it's common. In the South, go to church. Or are you okay? Don't say this. It's better if you don't say this. And I can tell it because I lived 20 years in Milano, so I can...
Really?
Yeah. So it's true that it's everywhere, but the intensity, it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
What do you think then? Like, I think we'd both like to live, I mean, we create our perfect world, right? I think we'd both like to live in a world where it was normal to speak about feelings and emotions and things like that. How do we help each other when it comes to that? And what can we do as humans to stop the cultural things that we have or the human things that we have, where it's like, away, you know? What can we do?
So I would answer saying, and then I'll explain myself, of course, that our reality is not our totality. So to help someone, we should absolutely be convinced that what we know is not everything. And we should drop off the lenses that are personal ones, and we should then listen without judging. So understanding that everything is relative first, and then listening and trying to be as much as objective as possible without getting emotional involved, because we will go back to the start and give eventually a solution. Propose a solution, because whoever is asking for help, generally when he's asking for help, is open to, let's say, intake the solution, but it might be that easy necessarily, because people are, again, scared to change, scared to follow exactly what you are envisioning for them as a solution. But then with the patient and kindness and repetition, you can absolutely channel the right action